This episode is brought to you by the Thrive Tribe. Check it out at chasingbrighter.com/Thrive Tribe. Welcome back to Chasing Brighter, your space for midlife inspiration, honesty, and meaningful connection. Today's episode is for the moms out there who have asked, am I doing enough? Or am I a good mom? We live in a culture that sells us the myth of the perfect mom. The mom who's always patient, always available, never drops a ball, makes healthy meals, volunteers at school, keeps a spotless house, and never, ever loses her cool.
But here's the truth. She doesn't exist.
Nope.
And chasing that illusion is making real women like Jess and I and all of you feel like we're constantly falling short. So today we are redefining what does it mean to be a quote unquote good mom. We're going to tear down those unrealistic expectations and talk about what truly matters, showing up with love, being real, setting boundaries, and mothering in a way that feels truly you.
If you stay tuned, at the end of the episode, we are going to hear from some of the moms in our lives, what they think about motherhood. So let's get going. This myth about the perfect mom, from Pinterest worthy birthday parties to gentle parenting, hot takes on social media, moms today are constantly bombarded with contradictory messages. Be nurturing, but independent. Put your kids first, but don't lose yourself. Be fully present, but also productive. Work like you don't have kids, parent like you don't have a job.
The message is clear. Whatever you're doing is probably not enough when you think about all of these things. That is the message we're getting. But this pressure, it's not new. It's been around for a long time. It's rooted in generations of impossible standards from the 1950s housewife ideals to today's hustle culture. What's new is that we're finally talking about it and saying enough is enough.
And we talked about that when we had our mom on, that her mom was able to stay home and that her generation was kind of, I mean, women have worked outside the home, whatever, but like she didn't have role models of women working and being moms.
Yeah.
And so then she was just trying her best, but saying how much she struggled with working and spending time with us and how that was like a struggle for her. So the struggle's been there, but they didn't really talk about it. And so that's what I think is different with this generation. What do you think?
I think it's true. And I also think it was presented in a different way. In a lot of ways today, it's very in your face because of media.
Y-
And it was in your face a little bit back then, but you can also close the magazine and put it
Yeah.
in the magazine rack and move on. Whereas now I feel like it's more everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're redefining it today and we're going to talk about it. We're going to give you permission to embrace imperfection because being a good mom is not about perfection. It is about presence. It is about repairing after rupture. It's about being a safe place, not a flawless one. So that's something that I think is different about our generation. What do you think about this, Kelly? But the repair after rupture is it's not that I'm perfect and don't yell at my kids. But if I do lose my temper and if I do yell at my kids, we debrief after. And I say, this is what's going on with me. This is where I went wrong. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's almost like there's a little bit more of an embracing of imperfection
Mm.
and continuing to lean into that more so than
Yeah.
before,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. And I think our kids don't need a perfect mom. They need a real one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And just that means you're allowed to get frustrated. You're allowed to just say, hey, I need a minute. Order takeout when you need to and you're having a moment. Don't feel like you have to have every meal perfect. It's also okay to scrounge and have leftovers and have people fend for themselves when they're old enough. You don't have to have the meal on the table every night.
Yeah.
just asking for a friend. It's okay to miss a game and
Yeah.
not put that pressure. If there's other things that you need to do, or say no to, whether it's a school obligation or maybe it's even needing to participate in some mom outing that
Yeah.
everyone else is going to, but you just have too much going on. None
Right.
of it makes you a bad mom.
And we've said this 10 million times, but I'm going to continue saying it. Studies show that children thrive when their primary caregiver is healthy and happy, not perfect.
Not perfect.
And
Yes.
I think this like gentle parenting thing that's out. It's so funny to me because that wasn't a thing when our kids were really little, but I don't even know if it needs to have a label. I would think that's what many of us are attempting. No one's, oh, my parenting style is scream at my children and lose my temper. I think where all of our intention is to be gentle and loving and nurturing. Kids push our buttons, right? It's so hard. And then, like we've been talking about in these episodes, you're mentally and emotionally exhausted. And so the bar that you're going to respond in a gentle way every single time is not really realistic. And that's fine. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think not only showing our kids that, but also with Beckett as an example, where I do lay into him a little bit when he's being difficult about something he did and then he feels bad for himself. I've been forcing him to say, "Hey, mom, I'm really sorry about that. I didn't mean to blah, blah, blah." Because you know what? That's all that people need sometimes, even because it's certainly what I do is apologize for it. And because we are not
Take
perfect.
responsibility. Yeah.
Yes. And it really, that practice, I feel like just really can do so much of a diffuse, can really diffuse a situation.
Yeah.
So let's talk about setting those healthy
Mhm.
boundaries. So many moms are running on fumes. They've internalized the message that self sacrifice equals love. But you know what? Let's flip the script on that. Setting boundaries is saying no, asking for help, protecting your energy. It's not selfish, it's sustainable love. It teaches our kids that moms are people too, and that everyone deserves respect, space, and rest. So, what we can talk about are just
Yeah.
kind of giving you guys some examples of what those mind shifts look like.
Yeah. So if we shift our mindset, we can tell ourselves, when I care for myself, I'm teaching my children to do the same. I have said as a therapist for a million years, I saw adolescents for about 15 years. I think 90% of parenting is modeling. They're going to do what you do and they're going to see what
Yeah,
you,
me
and I know we've
too.
talked before, like mom was always working sometimes two jobs and then she was also making dinner. And then if there was a special holiday, she was making cookies and decorating that. She would decorate our lockers. And so we saw motherhood was doing everything for everybody and nothing for yourself. And then guess
Yes.
what? That's how we started our motherhood journey off. So just reminding yourself when you are caring for yourself, you're teaching your children to do the same.
Another mindset is that I can love my family and still say no.
Yeah.
In the Fox household, this is a daily mantra, especially when it's, "I hate you. You're so mean," or whatever those words I get back.
Yeah.
I'm always like, "I love you," and I'm saying no, and no means no,
Yeah.
and learning to be okay with that and knowing 5 minutes later your kid's gonna be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's also like we've said, missing a game. Like this year, I've missed some kids' games. And before it was like a scheduling conflict where I took another kid somewhere else. But Dominic plays a lot of baseball and they have 8 a.m. games all the time on a Saturday or a Sunday. And I've just been like, I'm sleeping in. I need sleep. And so I will miss an early game sometimes. And me saying no does to his game does not mean I don't love him. I still love him. I don't have to go to every single game. It's okay.
It's true, and it's interesting because, like, I was sick, and so I didn't go to several games last weekend, and it was so weird.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
is a FOMO thing, but at the same time, you're like, "Wow, it's actually okay." Like, the world didn't crash. My kid wasn't distraught that I wasn't there. They know that you support them, and if you miss some things once in a while to take care of yourself,
Yeah.
I think it's great. Boundaries are, to that point, boundaries are a gift. not
Yeah.
just to you, but to your entire family.
Yeah. And you're not responsible for everyone's happiness. You're not. And that's okay. You know?
Yes. Yeah, you are not. And you have to always be telling yourself that. And that's where I think these are things that are a gift. You're not responsible for everyone's happiness. That's on them. And especially as our kids move into teenage lives here, it's definitely a daily struggle because they make you feel like crap and that you've ruined their whole entire life. So think about those as gifts, really.
Let's talk about authenticity because that's what our kids will remember. They're not going to remember the themed snacks, but the way you laughed at dinner, not the perfectly folded laundry, but the time you danced in the kitchen. Not how you held it all together, but how you came back when you broke down. When you show up as yourself, flaws, feelings, quirks, and all, you give your children permission to do the same.
You teach them resilience, you model self acceptance, and you create connections that last a lifetime.
Yeah. We have a special treat for you, a segment we're calling Motherhood Voices. And we reached out to our friends to ask them about their opinions on motherhood. So enjoy.
I think being a good mom is about loving your kids no matter what and always encouraging them and letting them know that you're proud of them.
So, what makes a good mom? This is a really hard question because I don't know if I am a good mom. I try my best and I do what I can, but who knows if you're ever doing the right thing? I tried to lead with empathy and honesty. In fact, it's gotten me in trouble a few times being too honest, but that's for another day. You know, at the end of the day, I just hope that I'm not doing more harm than good, period. I've got some really good kids that it's something that I'm really proud of what TJ, my husband, and I have done and how we've raised them. They're good people. They've got good hearts. They try hard. But does that make me a good mom? You know, I guess we'll see in a few years when how much therapy they need.
I used to think being a good mom meant raising high achievers, kids who got straight A's, were kind, and led others. But when I saw them struggling with anxiety and not caring for themselves, I realized I need to redefine success. Now I know it's more important that they feel balanced, healthy, and whole, even if that means getting B's.
I was totally excited about becoming a mother. It seemed so surreal, and there was so much love and anticipation. It just bubbled up for those 9 months. As a nurse, I had seen the birth of babies, and it truly is a miracle. I had taken care of newborns, and I was ready to be a mom. Holding my children and grandchildren as newborns, it just filled my heart. Always loving unconditionally. I was not ready for sleepless nights, colic, the terrible twos, tantrums, defiance, and downright meanness of teenage years. But those random hugs and kisses, time rocking the kids to sleep, the many cards and pictures and little gifts, flowers, rocks, bottle caps, notes, all just because. These memories cloud any of the tough ones. Now, with adult children and 5 lovely grandchildren, I still want to be central in their lives. But I think as I've gotten older, I've had to learn to let go a little and step back. I know this is all a part of life, and I'm loving every minute of it.
As we close today's episode, we want you to remember that you are already enough. There is no gold medal for perfect motherhood. There's only the daily quiet courage of showing up with love, with honesty, and with heart. You don't need to be everything. You don't need to do it all. You just need to be you, connected, caring, and real.
If no one's told you today, please know You are doing better than you think. You are already a good mom, and you're allowed to mother yourself with the same grace you give everyone else. Thanks for spending time with us today. Remember, if you like this episode, please share it with a friend, especially a fellow mom who needs these reminders. Thanks for listening today. Don't forget to subscribe so you can hear our latest episodes as soon as they drop.
If you loved today's episode, share with a friend. Find us on Instagram, Facebook at Chasing Brighter, or check out our blog at chasingbrighter.com and follow us. If you want to know more about Kelly and I, read our blogs, find more tips, tools, and resources, check that out at chasingbrighter.com. Thanks. Remember, your best life is just a listen away.